I was in love with the girl. I really thought we were going to get married, have kids and everything, and then all of a sudden she just ghosted me. It was months. Then I bump into her at the grocery store after I haven't heard from her, and you guys will not believe what I've discovered. She's pregnant. And guess what? It's my baby.
6 months. It's incredible how much a person's life can change in just a half a year. It had been that long since I've last heard from Myra, a dear friend from college, and our bond was so strong that the lines often blurred, making me wonder if it was a friendship or something more. But then she went silent, disappearing like the mist under the sun. I'd reached out several times, but she seemed to have vanished entirely, even blocking me on social media. Life moves on, and so did I. I landed a job in the city 3 hours away and mostly got caught up in the whirlwind of adulthood. My younger sister, Laura, though, stayed in our hometown. Over time, the distance between Myra and me became a bittersweet memory, tucked away in some corner of my heart, that is, until last week. I was visiting Laura, intending to spend a quiet weekend escaping the chaos of city life. We spent the morning reminiscing about childhood antics, and after a hearty brunch, she asked me to get some supplies from the town grocery store. As I was browsing through the aisles, I spotted a familiar figure in the fresh produce section. It was Myra, looking lost in thought, picking out tomatoes, but something was different. She was visibly pregnant. It was like an odd twist in a movie where you expect a familiar scene but find yourself thrown off by a sudden change. I kept staring, struggling to process the revelation until our eyes met, and Myra's response was unsettling. She greeted me with the usual, "Hey, how you been?" As though our 6 months of silence had been just a day. My confusion and surprise must have been evident. Why did you just disappear? No calls, no text, nothing. You just cut me off like I meant nothing. I was trying to hold back a bit of bitterness. She hesitated for a moment and then invited me over to her place. She said she wanted to talk. Every ounce of my being told me to decline and walk away from the whirlwind of emotions. She always seemed to bring into my life, but the concerned friend in me gave in. Myra's home was, as I remembered, warm and cozy, with a touch of artistic chaos. We settled in her living room, and the air was thick with tension. After what felt like hours, she began, "I'm having a girl. And she's yours." Mine? The room began to spin. I remembered our last meeting before the silence. It had been a bittersweet goodbye, a promise to always remain friends no matter where life took us, but this was unforeseen. She elaborated how she had discovered the pregnancy shortly after our last meeting. Panicking and not knowing how to handle the situation, she chose to shut me out. I wanted to protect her from the complicated world of our relationship. I thought if I just disappeared, you would move on and never need to know about her. I felt a surge of emotions. Myra, she's our child. How could you decide to keep this from me? I have a right to know, a right to be a part of her life. She looked at me, tears forming. You have your own life, a thriving career in the city. Do you really think you can provide her the stability she needs? My fiancé, Robert, he's ready to accept her as his own, to give her a secure future. The mention of Robert was like a slap to the face. Myra was engaged? So, you replace me, cut me off, and now want me to just up and disappear after you tell me I have a kid? I thought I was doing what's best for her. Our worlds have just always been so uncertain. She needs more. I can't believe you're doing this. Whether you like it or not, I will be a part of her life. As I turned to leave, she grabbed my arm and says, "Please, don't ruin this for her. This is her chance at a normal life." With a heavy heart, I pulled away, leaving behind the life I once knew, and a future filled with questions. The drive back to Laura's was nothing more than a blur. The weight of this revelation bore down on me, and for the first time in a long time, I felt truly lost. Laura noticed my distress when I returned, and she insisted I share my burdens, and as I recounted the events, the reality began to sink in. I was going to be a father. But more than that, I was faced with a dilemma of deciding what was best for my unborn child. Would I fight for my right to be a part of her life, or would I step back, letting her have the stable family life that Myra believed was best for her? I realized that life doesn't always present us with a clear choice. Sometimes the path ahead is fogged by the mirage of what could have been and what should be. But no matter the decision, it'll be guided by love and the hope for a better tomorrow. Comment number 1 of the original post says, "Man, this is a complicated situation. I totally get wanting to be in your kid's life. I mean, it's your kid. But if Myra genuinely believes it's for the best, maybe, it's worth considering. Sometimes the hardest thing is stepping back from the greater good, but damn, that's a heavy choice to make. I hope you find some clarity, OP." Comment number 2. Honestly, Myra sounds manipulative AF. First she cuts you off and then springs this bombshell on you and tells you to back off again. Nah, that's not right. You have every right to be in your kid's life, and she can't just play with your emotions like that. Dude, lawyer up and make sure you have some sort of custody agreement. Update number 1. Hey, it's me again. I can't believe the amount of support I received after my last post. Your words were both a comfort and a guiding force, and here's an update for those who were invested. After leaving Myra's house, the reality of being a father weighed heavily on me. The idea of my child growing up without me in her life was agonizing. I decided to fight for my rights and take Myra to court to ensure I had a place in my daughter's life. I consulted a lawyer, an old-school friend who had become a family attorney. After sharing my story, he suggested that we file for joint custody. The court process would be complex and emotionally taxing, but I was ready. My daughter deserved to know her real father, and I was prepared to ensure that happened. As we started all this legal journey, an unexpected twist came. My attorney managed to unearth some information that I was not prepared for. Robert, Myra's fiancé, was not aware of our past relationship, let alone the fact that the baby was not biologically his. Myra had led him to believe that he was the father. My attorney arranged for a sit-down with Robert, and it was nerve-wracking, to say the least. Robert, a tall, imposing figure, initially entered the room with hostile demeanor, but as I shared our story and laid out the facts, his expression changed from anger to shock, and then to pain. He was just as much of a victim as Myra's web of lies as I was. He confessed that Myra had told him she was pregnant shortly after a brief breakup they had. He had been ecstatic and thinking they were given a second chance. Now everything was clear to him. The timelines matched up and the pieces fell into place. The baby wasn't his. Despite the emotional chaos, Robert and I found an unexpected alliance. Both of us wanted what was best for the baby, and he admitted he still loved Myra but felt betrayed. They would need to sort out their issues, but as for the baby, we decided on a collaborative approach. The court proceedings were grueling, and Myra's defense was fierce, painting a narrative of me being an intruder in her settled life, and she brought up our complicated past and my, quote, unstable city life, questioning my capability as a father. But then, in another unexpected turn, a former friend of Myra's testified on my behalf. She shared evidence of Myra's emotional struggles and her pattern of deceit and her manipulative tactics. It was a significant blow to Myra's case, and despite the revelations, my fight was not against Myra, but for my daughter. The court eventually granted joint custody, citing that the child's right to know both parents. Robert, amidst all this, decided to take a break from Myra just to evaluate their relationship a bit. Currently, I'm setting up a nursery in my apartment, eagerly preparing for my daughter's arrival. It's still complicated, and I'm navigating co-parenting with Myra, striving to find a middle ground for our daughter's sake. Now, I wish this was the end of it, but there's more challenges ahead. See, Myra's now attending therapy, trying to understand the reasons behind her actions. I'm skeptical but hopeful, and as for Robert, well, We've been talking more. It's kind of weird, but I feel we might genuinely become friends throughout this mess. I'll keep you guys posted. Thanks again for standing by me through this roller coaster. Life's been a strange way of unfolding, and sometimes in the midst of a storm, you find a weird, settling anchor in the most unexpected place. Comments for the updates. Comment number 1. Honestly, while Myra definitely messed up big time, it's crucial for everyone to remember that mental health can play a significant role in these situations. She's seeking therapy, which is a step in the right direction. As for OP, you should also consider therapy to process all these emotions. Co-parenting with someone you have a history with is not going to be a walk in the park. Comment number 2. This story is just another reminder that life is not black and white. Myra messed up, sure, but the real MVP here is Robert, so far at least. Man took the news like a champ, and is even befriending OB? That's some next level maturity. Hope it all works out for the little one. She's the one that matters the most in all this drama. Update number 2. First, I just want to thank everybody who's been with me on this drama of a journey. And well, your support has been my anchor in the tempest that is my life now. I never thought that I'd be back so soon, but here I am, with a twist none of us saw coming. After the court's decision, there was a tense truce between Myra, Robert, and myself. We all had one goal in mind, the well-being of the child, to make things as smooth as possible. Robert and I continued to forge our buddy friendship. Our mutual love for football led us to spend Sunday evenings together, discussing strategies, critiquing plays, and slowly building a bit of a trust. However, just when I thought the dust was settling, Myra approached me with a suggestion so outlandish it left me stunned. Are you guys ready for this one? She began by acknowledging the bond Robert and I developed. I see how you two have grown close. It's beautiful. I was already on edge, waiting for the other shoe to drop, and drop it did. Have you ever maybe considered giving our unique situation a, three-way relationship? I mean, romantically? I was sure I misheard her, cleaning my ears out. Are you out of your mind? I sputtered, shock evident in my voice. The mere idea was baffling, absurd, and downright uncomfortable. She tried to explain that it could be a new start, a modern family dynamic. But to me, it felt like a wild attempt to regain control of an unraveling situation. I just left that conversation thinking it was just Myra being Myra. However, the next curveball was just around the corner. During one of our game nights, Robert brought up the topic. Hey, man, Myra, she mentioned an idea to me. My heart sank. I knew exactly where this was going. She talked about, well, the three of us, being together. It felt like the room's temperature plummeted, and I just stared at Robert, searching for a hint that he was joking. But his eyes were earnest. His face was flushed, and he said, Look. I've seen such dynamics work out before, man. It's unconventional, but maybe that's where we need to go right now. Every alarm in my head was ringing. The comfort of our newfound friendship, the ease of our Sunday game nights, it all felt tainted. Without uttering a word, I got up, grabbed my jacket, and left, leaving Robert alone mid-sentence with the game blaring in the background. This new wrinkle threw everything into chaos. Interactions with Myra became even more strained, and Robert's text messages and calls went unanswered. The awkwardness was there, and making even baby-related discussions a chore. I was filled with doubt and unease. Well, Myra was manipulating Robert, or he was genuinely on board with this ludicrous idea, I don't know. One evening, I was mulling over everything, and I received an unexpected call from Myra's sister, Clara. Clara and I had always been on good terms. She was the voice of reason in Myra's lifestyle. Hey, I've heard about the proposal. I want you to know I'm so baffled as you are. We talked at length, and she shared that Myra had been attending group therapy sessions and might have been influenced by the stories of polyamorous relationships. Perhaps she saw it as a solution, a way to create a cohesive family unit. But Clara felt Myra was clutching at straws, trying to make sense of a fragmented life. The call ended with Clara dropping a bombshell. Myra was considering moving out of state with the baby. Well, that sent a spine-chilling throb down my back. This was no longer just about navigating complex emotions. This was about ensuring my daughter did not get swept away in a storm. With that, another chapter unfolds. I'm now gearing up for another potential legal battle, hoping to prevent Myra from taking my daughter away. This journey has been nothing short of a ride, but I'm prepared to face whatever comes my way for the sake of my kid. I'll keep you guys updated. Your advice and perspectives are more important than ever. Thank you for being with me every step of the way. Comment number 1 for the update. Holy smokes, dude. What a ride you're on, you're right. Honestly, Myra's proposition seems a bit desperate. It's an attempt to glue everything back together without considering the emotional repercussions. While polyamorous work for some, it's clearly not for everyone, especially not thrusted on you like that. You're right to trust your instincts, and I hope the legalities work in your favor. Sending all the positive vibes your way. Stay strong. Comment number 2. Okay, I know. I might get downvoted for this or whatever, but have you considered listening to Myra and Robert? I mean, not jumping into a 3-way relationship, but understanding their perspective. It's clear everyone's trying to find a solution to this messy situation, maybe a mediated discussion where all parties express their feelings without judgment. Could help a bit. Communication's key. Also, therapy might be helpful for everybody involved. Comment number 3. Man, this feels like a freaking plot out of a movie. Yeah, I'm here for the drama. I genuinely hope your daughter's well-being, though, remains the top priority. The whole 3-way relationship thing sounds like a distraction from the real issue, ensuring that your child grows up in a stable environment. Stick to your guns, get your legal team ready, and protect your rights as a father. Update number 3. Hey guys, I wish I could say things have settled down, but unfortunately the storm just intensified. Thanks to everybody for their constant words of encouragement and advice. Here's the latest. And believe me when I say I never expected this. After hearing about Myra's plans to move out of state with our daughter, I knew I had to act swiftly. I contacted my lawyer, ready to prevent Myra from taking such a drastic step. Court preparations were in full swing, and I was determined to ensure my daughter remained close. Myra's decision seemed to be rooted in her frustration and desperation over my rejection of the proposed 3-way relationship, which made the situation even more incredulous. As we moved ahead with the court proceedings, Robert's behavior took an alarming turn. One evening, he appeared unannounced, right there at my doorstep. The aura around him was different, and it was not the friendly face of a football buddy, but one laden with intensity that made my skin crawl. I just wanted to talk. He began, voice low, without waiting for an invitation, and he stepped inside. What's this about, Robert? I think you're misunderstanding the whole relationship idea, man. This was a heavy pause. I'm bisexual. Robert confessed. While the revelation itself was not an issue to me, the implication within our context was chilling, and I don't know, he says. I thought the 3 of us could be something beautiful, something genuine. His declaration caught me completely off guard, and I felt trapped in my own home. Every fiber of my being screamed that this was wrong on so many levels. I need you to leave. I mustered with my voice firm, then I felt. Robert stepped closer, eyes searching mine. Oh, man, just give it a thought. He whispered with his breath warm on my face. The closeness was stifling. Pushing him past, I opened the door and said, "Leave." His face, an intricate play of hurt and determination, remained etched in my mind long after he left, and that night I barely slept a wink, feeling violated and vulnerable in my sanctuary. Over the next week, Robert's obsession grew. He would send me messages, trying to, quote, convince me, talking about how this would make everything right, and the once buddy friendship had metamorphosized into a relentless pursuit, and it just felt cornering, not just by Myra's emotional manipulation, but also by Robert's infatuation. The final straw was when Robert started showing up at my workplace, waiting outside during my lunch breaks, and even approaching my colleagues. It was clear, it's time to take legal action. I applied for a restraining order against Robert, detailing a series of events that led to this decision, and the court granted it swiftly, acknowledging the escalating threat he posed. Simultaneously, the custody hearing continued and the courtroom drama was there. Myra, looking worn and agitated, played the victim card, painting a story of a past lover refusing to let go and her current partner getting too attached. However, the evidence of her manipulations and the documented instances of Robert's obsession worked against her narrative. A child psychologist testified, emphasizing the unstable environments that baby would grow up if Myra's plans went ahead. It was a grueling process, but in the end the court ruled in favor of my primary custody, allowing Myra visitation rights. The judge recognized the importance of the child having both parents in her life, but felt the immediate environment needed stability. Presently, I'm trying to find my footing in this new reality. My daughter's safety and well-being are key, and Myra and I are treading on thin ice, and Robert's restraining orders just kept him at bay. Still, underlying tension and fear remain. I want to thank you guys for standing by me during this update. I'll keep you posted since life is unpredictable, and I'm learning every day how to navigate its choppy waters. Update number 4. Hey everyone, first off, I can't express my gratitude for this tremendous support that you've all shown during this chapter of my life. I'm here with what I hope to be the final update. 5 months ago, in search of a peace and a fresh start, I made the decision to relocate to a serene mountain town several states away. The hustle and bustle of the city, with its memories and confrontations, had become too overwhelming. After securing permission from the court, given the established visitation rights for Myra, my daughter and I embarked on this new journey. The transition was like balm to our souls. The panoramic vistas and the crisp mountain air and the tight-knit community welcomed us with open arms, and I felt quaint house overlooking a valley, a safe haven away from chaos of the past. One weekend, while exploring local attractions, I stumbled upon a whitewater rafting spot. Intrigued, I decided to give it a try, and that's where I met Alara, the rafting coach with a sun-kissed glow and a contagious zest for life. Our connection was instantaneous, and she showed me and my daughter the ropes, literally. And soon the rafting expeditions became our weekend ritual. With Alara, I rediscovered the joy of companionship. Laughter and shared experiences. It was evident to both of us that we were building something special. And while we took things slow, respecting each other's past and vulnerabilities, it felt right. However, as with all tales, there was one final twist. A couple of weeks ago, I heard a familiar knock on my door, and upon opening it, there stood Myra, looking disheveled with her eyes echoing a myriad of emotions. "I've ended things with Robert." Taken back, I replied, "What brings you here, Myra?" She took a deep breath. "I just needed to see where you were, how you were doing. You've always been the one who got away." But time, distance, and self-reflection had lent me a clarity that I have not possessed before, and I said, "Myra, I've moved on. I suggest you do the same, and we'll adhere to the court-mandated visitation schedule, but beyond that, our paths don't need to cross." Her eyes misted over, but she nodded, understanding the finality in my words. As she walked away, I realized it was the second of the end of the era. One filled with love, betrayal, and countless lessons. Now, as I write down this final update, I'm filled with gratitude. Life's thrown its curveballs, but it's also blessed me with resilience, love, and a new beginning. To those reading this still, remember, after the darkest storm, there's always a rainbow. Go find your rainbow.
I don't know about you guys, but I am so glad OP did not fall back into Myra's deceitful, deceptive web at the end of the story when she shows up and is like, "Oh, I've cut off everything with Robert." Yeah, I don't care. This whole story was weird. I mean, what was up with Robert? He was a cool guy all of a sudden, and then he wanted to start a relationship and start stalking OP. This story took so many turns, and wow, I do want to know your thoughts. Some of the commenters, though, they were saying they think OP should make up with Myra. I don't personally agree with that, but let me know your thoughts, guys. Drop your exact opinions downstairs in our comment section. I cannot wait to hear from you guys. My name's Mr. Reddito. I narrate these sort of stories every single day. We're talking inheritance dramas, mother-in-law disputes, cheating stories, stories like today. I mean, we have it all. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Don't forget to subscribe, and remember, it's cool to be kind. See ya!